Hi, I'm Christy Rost. One of the easiest gatherings I know is to issue an invitation for apps, a selection of small bites or a signature appetizer, and you're all set. Today, I'm going to provide you with a recipe for both options. Welcome to At Home with Christy Rost. I'm going to start with apple and brie crepes with a honey drizzle. So, first of all, let's make the crepes. So I have 2 eggs. I'm going to put them in a bowl and whip them up. Just until they're well mixed. Now this is going to be a savory kind of crepe, so not a sweet crepe that I would add sugar. Then I'm going to add in 1 cup of milk and just whisk that in slowly. 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And again, you want to just add this in a little at a time and making sure that you incorporate it so you don't end up with lumps. We'll add a little more. I love making crepes, and it's when we go to France, especially if you go into Montmartre area, there are always crepe carts there. And in fact, here in Breckenridge, Colorado, we have 2 crepe carts on Main Street in Breck, and there's always a long line, and I can understand why. Crepes are just very, very popular. And I add the last of the all-purpose flour. Whisking, whisking. Don't forget the edge of the bowl. Then I have 1/4 cup of whole wheat flour. Now this is a little different than you might usually find in a crepe, but for these crepes with the honey and the brie inside, I need a more substantial crepe than what you usually will have. And that's where the whole wheat flour comes in. It helps me create a crepe that has a little more substance to it and will hold up to a little heavier finish or filling that you are going to then pick up to eat. Now, one of the things that makes a crepe batter tender, or a crepe tender after it's cooked, is a little bit of melted butter. So I have a tablespoon of melted butter here that I'm going to add in. And I'm also going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I have some of the Salt Seasons Himalayan pink salt here, so I'll add that in. We'll make this a real international kind of dish. A French crepe, a Himalayan sea salt, made in Colorado. Alrighty, so there we go. So then I need a crepe that's a little thicker than usual, so instead of using a scant 1/4 cup, I'm going to use a whole 1/4 cup for each crepe. And I'm going to pour this into, this is a Viking Hybrid Plus nonstick pan. So you pour the batter in and then swirl. See that? And put it back on the heat. You want about a medium-low to medium heat. It's going to take very little time. And get a spatula ready. And as the center dries, that's when, and you see the edge start to release and get a little bit brown. Oh yeah. That's when you know it's ready. So see, there's the top and there's the bottom. Then I leave it on this side for 10-15 seconds, that's all. Just to finish cooking that batter. And slide it out of the pan right onto the plate. And then take a towel, always take a towel. because they dry out very quickly. And just cover the plate like that to keep that moisture in there. I got a little bit of something from the pan there. Let me just take that out. Okay, then let's make another. And again, you just swirl to coat the bottom of the pan. Put it back on the heat. And it gets lots of little bubbles all around as it starts to cook through and dry out in the center. So this one's almost ready. This pan is fabulous, I have to say. After I do this one, I'll show you what the pan looks like inside in case you can't see. It's really, really pretty. Okay, so it's releasing from the edge. This one's not gonna be quite as dark, so I really like this. Look at that. See? So that's what it looks like on the bottom. We give it 10 or 15 seconds. And slide it right out of the pan onto the plate. There we go. I love making crepes. But as I was saying, when you go into France, especially in Paris, and especially in the Montmartre region, they have the crepe carts. One of the, I think, best sellers is their strawberry crepes. And those are a sweeter crepe than this. This has no sugar in it at all. And of course it has, those have no whole wheat flour in because I need that bulk for these. But they fill them with strawberries and a little bit of jam and fold those things up and people just snap them up. Give them this 1 extra second. And so I got one, and they always wrap it in a cone of parchment paper. It's really fun. And it's definite street food. Flip that over. There you go. Keep it on the heat rather than showing it, but keep it on the heat and slide it out. So we'll do, maybe one more. And this will make a good 7, 8 crepes. Quick. When I first started making crepes, somebody gave me a crepe pan that had a dome on it as a wedding gift. And I had never made crepes at that point. So, early married, hadn't cooked a lot, wasn't doing what I'm doing now. So I learned, I made the batter, and you'd heat this thing on the stove and then dip it in and hurry up and flip it over and put it back on the stove. And it would make perfect crepes, it really did. But then I thought, wait a minute, that's not how everybody else makes crepes. And so I learned to make them with just using an 8-inch skillet, and that's what you want, and it should be non-stick. And don't get discouraged if your first one burns. If you do your first crepe and it's really dark and all, don't be discouraged, just toss that one and move on, because the others, I guarantee, will be perfect. So here's our last crepe that we're going to do for right now. And I'll just slide this out. And then this, I am going to show you the pan because I forgot to do that. Let me shut this off. So the interior is this beautiful shade of blue, and it has this pretty little pattern in it. And so this is the hybrid version of nonstick cookware. And I love it. I just absolutely love it. It performs so beautifully. So that's Viking culinary cookware. So there we have our batter. We'll put that aside. So to make the crepes, keep these covered. You take some brie cheese, and I'm going to melt this. So let me cut the brie cheese first. I think I got ahead of myself. I'm going to put my crepe back under covers, back under wraps. There we go. And I'm going to, this is brie cheese, but we removed the rind, the white rind from the exterior. I'm going to cut it into some small pieces like this. And I found the easiest way to melt it is to put it in the microwave. And I'm helping it along by cutting it into smaller pieces. So I'm going to step to the microwave and stick this in, and I have to kind of watch it because I'm not sure exactly how long it's going to take. Every time seems to be different. So I'll put it on 40 seconds, and I'm going to put it on about 50% power, 60%, and let's see what happens. Then in the meantime, I have some beautiful Cosmic Crisp apple, and I've sliced them into real thin slices. They're probably about, I would say about 1/8 to 1/4 inch in thickness. And those will go inside. And then I'm going to drizzle with some honey. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. I hear things happening. Let's take a look. Okay, it's starting to melt, but it's going to need just another few moments. So I'm going to put it back in. Give it just a little more time and start it back up again. And you can hear it, you'll hear it as it's bubbling. And that's when you know it's just about ready. In the meantime, I have a gorgeous platter here. Look at this. So I'll use this to put all my crepes on. Let's see what this looks like. Ooh, pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay, just almost. This one, like I said, you never know exactly how long. I think I'll grab a spoon over here. There we go. I gotta, oh, now it's really bubbling. Woo, woo, woo. Look at that, look how pretty that is. Ooh, nice. I got a message one time on Instagram, and somebody was watching one of my films, and they said, I love just watching you flit about the kitchen, and we just keep up with you and see where you're going. We get to see everything, what you pull out of a drawer and what the other side of the kitchen looks like. I thought, well, that's kind of cool. I like that. So, you know, I hate being stuck just behind the counter. Ooh, so I'm going to put some of this pretty brie cheese right here. And you see it gets real buttery too. Ooh, that's like pizza. And put that in here like this. And it will harden up pretty quickly. Then I take some pretty apple slices and I overlap them. And you want to leave a border at the bottom because you need to be able to fold it. So I'm going to fold like this and like this. So this will look like a cone. And then I take a wooden pick to hold it together so that when people take one, it just is easy for them. Oh, I forgot the honey. Oh, let's do the honey. So this is Little Bear golden honey. Let's do a drizzle. Ooh, look how pretty. So you've got the sweetness and crispness of the Cosmic Crisp apples. You've got that wonderful melted creaminess of the brie cheese. And then you've got the sweet honey finish. So let's make another. Okay, melted cheese. And you may have to, after you've done a couple, you may have to put it back in the microwave for a little bit longer. Spread that out. This is just one of those just refreshing, easy, very different kind of apps for people. And it doesn't matter if the cheese isn't melted anymore by the time they get it. In fact, I guarantee you it won't be. But they'll have all that flavor and still that creaminess in it. Now we add some more of the Little Bear honey. Ooh, drizzle, drizzle. And then the sweetness, oh, so nice. And again, make a cone and put your pick in there to hold it all together. And there you go. So we'll finish these up, and then I have something else for you, a real treat. And this one comes from Spain.
was one of those peak moments in life.
The olive oil and caviar tasting was life-changing.
Our guests can go ashore and immerse themselves in some of these little out-of-the-way places.
Atlas spoiled us.
Yeah, they did.
So now I'm going to make for you one of the national dishes of Spain. It's called the tortilla espanola, but this is not a tortilla like you may be thinking, like we have with Tex-Mex food. So I have a large skillet here. It's non-stick. This is the Hybrid Plus. I'm going to add in about a tablespoon or so of oil. And I have several potatoes that I have peeled and sliced to about a 1/4 inch thickness. And I'm going to saute these until they get really soft. So I'll put this back here. And then I also have another skillet, a smaller one. I'm going to put a little more olive oil in here. And I'm going to add 1 whole red onion that has been peeled and sliced. And we'll saute these. Ooh, you can really hear those potatoes. Now the potatoes take a while. This is going to take a good 20-25 minutes. And and that's okay. But at this point, I'm going to add more oil to the potatoes. And I just wanted to get them started a little bit golden. And now I'm going to add almost a 1/2 cup of olive oil. And when you think about it, Spain is the largest olive oil producer in Europe. So it makes sense that their national dish is going to involve olive oil, and lots of it. So then I have 6 eggs, and I'm going to whisk these. Now, you may be thinking, why potatoes, why onion on an appetizer kind of episode here of At Home with Christy Rost? Well, that's because once this is totally cooked, then it's usually served in little squares. And that shows up in a lot of tapas. So the tortilla espanola, if you are in Spain and you see that on the menu, oh, you're gonna want to order that. But don't be surprised, it will show up probably in little squares. So we're going to take a break and let these potatoes finish cooking and the onions soften as well, and then we'll come right back. So the potatoes have softened, and I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to the eggs. Then I'm going to set this aside for a few moments. At this point, it's time to take the potatoes out of the skillet and the onions too, but I want to drain the oil from them. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon. This is from Brabantia, and great company, love it. I just met them this year, and they're so wonderful. They've got all kinds of implements for the kitchen. So I just take out all of these potatoes, and you want them to be knife tender. So I'm trying to leave as much oil as possible in the pan rather than on the potatoes. Even if it is a brilliant Spanish olive oil. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing with the onions and take them out as well and let them drain. And this pan I can set aside. I won't need that one again. So line your bowl with paper towels so you're all set to do this step. And there we go. Now, I'm going to drain off this oil. But I'm not going to get rid of it because I will use little bits. And I'm just going to leave the heat on the stove very low, because we're going to come back to that. So I have my eggs, salt, pepper. Now I'm going to add in some Spanish smoked paprika. This is called pimenton. And it's classic in so many recipes. Give it a quick whisk to mix. Then, here come the onions and potatoes. Slide those in carefully. One more. There we go. And stir this well. And that way I'm getting all the seasoning on the potatoes. There we are. That looks good. This is gonna be so yummy. You're really gonna like this. I'm going to add in just a tablespoon or two to the skillet of the reserved oil. There's one, that's two. And let me swirl that just a bit to coat the pan. And very carefully slide in part of the egg and potato mixture. And so I'm going to try and get that all across the bottom of the pan in somewhat even fashion. And I'm going to top it with some prosciutto. Now, if I were in Spain, or if I were near a Spanish market here in the US, I would use some Iberico ham or some Serrano ham, but I'm not there. So I'm using, as a substitution, some prosciutto. Many of the tortilla espanolas do not use ham in them, but some do, and I thought it would be a nice addition. Then I'm going to put the rest of the potatoes and the eggs and onion over top. And then we're going to cook this until it's almost cooked through, and that will take about 20 minutes. So we'll be back then. So the potato, onion, and egg mixture have cooked for about 15 to 18 minutes, and all of the egg is pretty well set. The middle is maybe just still a little soupy, not too much, and that's perfect. That's the right condition. So now it's the moment of truth. I'm going to take a plate that covers virtually all of this, and we're gonna see if I can flip it. And there you go. Well, that looks pretty. Okay, then I'm just going to take out any egg that's stuck to the bottom and clean this up just a little bit. We'll dispose of that. Excuse my back. Put it back on the heat and add just a little more of the reserved olive oil to the pan. And just swirl that or move it around the pan there. I'm so excited, I got it out of the pan and onto the plate. You never know. Then I'm going to slide it back into the pan to cook the other side. And any potato or onion that comes out, just gently push it back under. And this is how you cook the remaining part that didn't quite get done. So we're gonna let this cook for about 5 minutes and it's done. Cosmic Crisp apples are a cross between Enterprise and Honeycrisp varieties, which makes this non-GMO apple extra juicy and beautifully crisp. Sweet and naturally slow to brown, I love them for snacking, baking, cooking, salads, and charcuterie boards. I'm proud to have Cosmic Crisp as a sponsor of At Home with Christy Rost. So the tortilla espanola has cooked for about 5 minutes on that, what was the top and is now the bottom. And you take the pan and shake it and see if it will move in there, and you know it's ready. So here we go, moment of truth. And there it is. And any potatoes that slide out, keep your spatula handy and just slip them under. And you can serve this warm or room temperature. This is so pretty, it deserves a placemat. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And then we have the crepes. So there you are. We've got the apple crepes with brie cheese and honey drizzle. And we have this tortilla espanola, which is so signature of Spain, which I'll be visiting on Atlas Ocean Voyages as their celebrity chef this fall. So thanks for joining me today on At Home with Christy Rost for Apps, where great food, beautiful wines, and hospitality are a tradition. I invite you to contact me, reach out to me on my Instagram and Facebook pages, and you'll find today's recipe on my website at christyrost.com. Special thanks to my friends at Melissa's Produce. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Atlas Ocean Voyages, Cosmic Crisp Apples, Michael David Winery, Tovolo, Viking Culinary Cookware, Water and Wines Puzzles, Little Bear Honey, Salt Seasons, and Tip Tech. See you soon.